I love when other reactors have finished with Diana Ankachinova's songs and they've moved on to something else, and that leaves a big space for me to come and do my reactions. And today, Diana Ankachinova is my guest. Thank you and forgive me. What am I thanking her for? What am I forgiving her for? Some people say this is definitely biographical. I won't know until I break down the lyrics with you straight after, which I have in English. And I'm delighted this time I didn't have to do the work. Somebody did it for me. I got them off Facebook and I was so elated, so happy. Thank you. We need more of Diana's lyrics, please, if you can translate and help this artist, please do, please do, please do. Back to the video itself. It's a mood video. I don't know what it intends. But what I'm going to do is refresh people. And people, listen to me. If you say, oh, I love this guy, he does a lot of reactions for Diana, please subscribe to my channel. YouTube have taken thousands of subscribers from me. They do it to everybody on YouTube, lots of creators. I'm not the only one. But I have worked very hard promoting Diana. And if you are a true Diana fan, you will subscribe to my channel and comment and like this particular video. So don't forget, subscribe. And if you say, well, I have subscribed, CC, no, go back, check, because YouTube uncheck you. That's what they do. So please don't forget to resubscribe to my channel and the best reactions on this particular artist, your favorite. Diana is back and I'm delighted because I always leave it for a while and I then give people a bit of history about her so we don't forget the hard work this young lady is putting into her career to become global. And she is. Although it's not mentioned because of politics, the countries, propaganda, everything else, if you mix it like a cake, Diana is a musical victim of this world. So it's up to people like me to refresh your memory. And I'll go back a few years to 2023, where Diana appeared in the weekly television show Maka the Masked Singer on the Russian NTV channel. She sang under Ermine Mask. She was eliminated as a contestant in April, and she had started in February, so she did very well. And she removed her Ermine mask to reveal her true identity. She then performed a reprise of her song California Dreamin'. Do check it out on YouTube, from episode 6 of that particular show. Now, her vocal range has always stunned people, so I'm going to read out two things that I have got on her vocal range because it is quite... People ask, is Diana a dramatic contralto? Now, her vocal range is styled together with her tessitura, it says. Which identifies her potential voice as dramatic contralto. Correct. The deepest, darkest, most powerful contralto voice is what she has. That's what this young lady has, and she gives you. It also says, when Diana first came to broader attention way back in 2017, her range was measured at D3 to A5. As of September 21, her functional range was measured to C3 to B5. And together with her tessitura, which is the most acceptable and comfortable vocal range for a given singer, it was identified as her potential voice type as dramatic contralto, which is, as I've just mentioned, the deepest, darkest, most powerful voice to have. As of August 2023, her upper range has reached D6 and surprised everybody in the song The Day You. So check that out on YouTube. So you have two songs. This is why we need to keep up with her, that she's performing in different vocal ranges to showcase the talent she has. It's quite remarkable. If we go up to now what she's doing, let's see. I'm just because I know a lot of you know this already, but anything else that just might appeal to me. Oh yes, when she was appearing in the show, way back on Russian NTV network. Show Must Go On, it was called. And the judges were commenting on all of that. At the end of the final episode, Diana had accumulated 468 points, which is 25 points above the second place finisher. That's how popular this young lady is. And I'll give you a taste of her voice now. Wonder what range she's singing. It's called Thank You, Forgive Me.
Весь день я ходила, думала, как буду смотреть в твои глаза, когда скажу слова. Браслет истеребила, пока шла, забыла, что с тобой себя нашла. Как могла глупая, хотелось выбросить момент, когда в объятиях навек мы разошлись и чувства стали как теперь. Любовь была как оберег, я думала, что человек не будет создавать флешбэк, но тает свет. И то, что подбирала вместо сна, потеряна, как только начала. Смотрел в мои глаза, ничто не предвещало ничего, но не был наш закончен диалог. Моргать я не могла. Во дворе мы на лавочке в центре, каждый день рядом, сейчас на пределе. Так обидно, все проблемы зря преодолел. Во дворе мы на лавочке в центре, каждый день рядом, сейчас на пределе. Так обидно, все проблемы зря преодолел. Хотелось выбросить момент, когда в объятиях навек мы разошлись и чувства стали как теперь. Любовь была как оберег, я думала, что человек не будет создавать флешбэк, но тает свет. Спасибо, прости меня.
Well, Diana, you surprised us again with another incredible song, and it's very deep as well. I have the lyrics in front of me. I'm so excited this time that the lyrics have been properly translated, so I can't get it wrong. I cannot. I refuse to get it wrong because I adore this musical genius. It starts, all day I've been walking, thinking, how will I look into your eyes, she asks. When I say the words, I was fidgeting with my bracelet and walking. I forgot that I found myself with you. How could I forget? She continues. So stupid I wanted to throw away the moment when in an embrace forever we parted. The feelings became like a defect. Love was like a talisman. I thought a person wouldn't create a flashback, but the snow is melting. What I picked up instead of a dream was lost as soon as it began. I feel it's biographical. I do. I read over the lyrics before the video had played. And I also like to, when the song is playing, because I've seen the videos. I'm not one of these reactors who haven't seen the videos. Say, first time I ever watched this in my life to get people clicking. No. Excuse me. I've got a very dry throat. It's very sunny in Ireland, and which is unusual, and it causes me to have dry throats. But the one thing about this being biographical is, and I feel it is that some people say, no, it's her friends, and she learns from her friends' stories, and these are other people. But why? Why can it not be Diona? Do you think she's too young to experience such deep feelings? I think not. I think in the world we live in today, women as well as men are able to express feelings that before, many years ago, a woman couldn't. And I just feel, because she talks about the bracelet, and it's a metaphor for, you know, there was a bracelet obviously bought for her, this person that she shared, I wouldn't say a relationship, I'm going to say a moment, some moments in her life with, was very poignant to her. And she uses very symbolically the melting snow. When it disappears, what does it leave behind? You know, that's to do with feelings, because snow and ice is always about coldness. And you see her in the video walking around with the wet hair. It's all displays of feeling lost. She's feeling down. She's got a black cloud over her, and she doesn't know how to get rid of these feelings of intimate love that she has for this person. She has very deep love, because she uses very beautiful but very strong words, because she said, I forgot that I found myself with you. Now, you don't say that about anybody, and you don't say that about an affair, and you don't say that about somebody you've just met. It's somebody that was in her life for a while, to have developed such a strong statement in for her to say. And how could I forget? So stupid. Pain and hurt and anger, feelings make you forget. You're meant to. We are like computers, and we forget sometimes. Our brain can overload with them, with everything we see, our heart feels. We know that. But when it comes to relationships, we can become overloaded with emotions, and we need to get rid of them. And so we're meant to forget. And it's almost like she feels guilty, because she said, I wanted to throw away the moment when an embrace forever we parted and feelings became like a defect. That defect is her feeling sad, feeling sorry that she almost made it, what was personal, simple in her way of thinking. And then it continues. Love was like a talisman. I thought a person wouldn't create a flashback, but the snow is melting. So metaphors are used, and symbolism is used in the snow melting. Again, it's about, as I've just said, her feelings. But she continues, and what I picked up instead of a dream was lost as soon as it began. So there's the paradox between the two. You've got the snow melting, and that's symbolizing, by the way, her coming to terms. This person's not in her life. She's moving on, and she's feeling stronger. But then you've also got reality setting in with what, you know, the brain affects your physical. And she's saying, it wouldn't create a flashback. This, you know, the thoughts that she's had, she's almost blanked that person out. She can't think of them. She can't remember what they were doing. But she's meant to do this. It's a process that some people go through of elimination for you to move forward and keep the door open for somebody else to come in. And It's wonderful how she says, I was lost as soon as it began. And she's talking about that process. She's walking around, you see in the video in the streets, and you see her at one point in the video where, you know, she's just, you know, the light is looking at her face and she's blinded. But that's all symbolic of being blinded by her own thoughts. She wants to be in the dark. The rain is affecting her. All those elements of the video is about how she feels. And she doesn't want the light coming to her eyes because she'd have to wake up to reality. That person's gone. In the light we see everything. In the dark we can create, you know, this, we almost, it's like her going to a funeral, her own funeral of emotions and trying to bury them, and she's struggling. But then she goes back, but our dialogue wasn't finished. In other words, this relationship wasn't finished in her mind. And she's wondering, why did it finish? Because I had so much more to say, so much more to do and give. I thought we could move on from this. But that is reality. A lot of relationships are not meant to move on. But she hasn't come to that yet. She said, I couldn't blink. We're on a beach in a courtyard. So she is starting to have flashbacks and remember. In the center of the city, every day we're together, and now we're on the edge. But that's memories. That's not reality. And so frustrating, and that's why it's frustrating. All the problems we've overcome for nothing. No, that's life. When you're in a relationship and you talk and you work things out and you move on and you're happy again, it's creating trust. And you're meant to have trust in a relationship. And from this, you learn in your next relationship or one many years later. It can take some people a lot of years to get over hurt. And I feel with her, it's all about experiences. They overwhelm her. She's sensitive. She's extremely sensitive. She says, when in an embrace forever we parted and feelings became like a defect. She's used that word twice now. Love was like a talisman. She's repeated. I thought a person wouldn't create a flashback. In other words, a camera is a flashback. Your memory has flashbacks. That's the camera of the human body. And your eyes is the focus point like the camera. And she's almost symbolically saying, there's no flashes, there's nothing to focus on to create more memories. The snow is melting. And she's repeating and repeating because that's what you do when you're depressed. And what she does is she resolves everything by saying this. I shouldn't have thought. In other words, I shouldn't have been thinking too much, letting it all get to me. I should have just handled it and took a deep breath and say, okay, this has happened to me. But the one thing you learn from this, and Diana must have learned, is that love hurts. No matter if it's brief, if it's for a few months, if it's meant to be or not to be, love hurts. Because she says, I should have thought the problem's over, but I blame myself. She was the one that carried on being sensitive, because some people are everybody. And she says, and because she's getting over it now, and we see that towards the end of the video, she actually says, thank you. I'm sorry, to herself, because she's becoming a new person, a better person, a healed person. She's learned from her experiences. Love hurts, and she's almost feeling awkward, shy about it, but she moves on, and that's the important thing. So she says, thank you for the memories. I'm sorry. She's resolving herself in the song. I'm sorry to everybody around me, having me go through this trauma and watching me feel sad about everything. But she's resolving it by saying, I'm okay now. And that's the important thing. So that's my analyzation of a very deep and moving video and a poignant song written by the wonderful Diana Ankudinova. And she shall be back. And I'll be back with great reactions. Don't forget to check if you are subscribed to my channel, because a lot of people say I am, but check, because YouTube are taking off hundreds from my channel, and it's not good. So do check. Thanks for listening. Bye bye.